So first thing, what we need this configuration file for? What is the necessity?
To create the object for Pojo class and to send the properties of Pojo class.
Yes, the bin class you can say. There is nothing but like we use the objects from the bin can be created directly from the configuration file, right? So next thing, just a minute. So what's the first thing we had? Application name Spring Hello World, right? So in the inside the Spring Hello World, we have written the first thing. This is the bin class. Okay, Hello World is a bin class. It has a variable known as message, which is of string type, and we are having the getter and setter method. Okay, and in order to configure this, we have the spconfig particular file. In this spconfig, we write the bins tag in order to have the bin configuration. So inside the bin, the class, the Pojo class or the bin class, you can say, the object ex is an object of this particular hello world class. And by using this, we can set a value for a property name. The property is nothing but the hello world. Here the message variable value has been set from the spconfig. Welcome to Spring. Okay, that's the most important thing you can say. After that, the first part is to read the configuration path, which can be done by the class path resource, which is a class, and resource is an interface, which can store the subclass object. It's doing the same. Then after reading the thing, we need to get the object. In order to get the object, first the XML bean factory should be called. It's a class which stores the bean factory. Bean factory in the sense how many beans are there for all that informations are stored in this bean factory. You can have multiple bean tags also. Okay. So now in the multiple bean tags, which bean you want, that bean name we can write. Based on that, its return type is a object, and that object is being converted in the form of a like bean class. That is a hello world. And then based on the get message, we'll call these things h dot get message princess. Okay, the system dot println the h dot get message is the thing. So when I directly run this thing, we need two jar files: Spring Framework, which has a 2.5.6 version, and the other thing is Commons login, which I explained in the last class. So this is the basic which we need: a particular bin class configuration file and the Spring file where you need to configure the XML file, then create a factory bin factory object so that you can access the bin objects from the XML file. That's the reason we are creating the object. Then converting that, class casting that, and calling the methods. So these are the things we need for a particular thing. Now the next concept will be how the setter injection with objects can be done in the Spring. We have seen a traveler and a journey example at the starting, right? For that, I'm going to write a program now. Okay. Before that, a slight concept that here we used to write like vehicle v equals new car or a superclass reference can store the subclass object the upcasting concept is there. We used to do it using the code. So in this thing, you can see the car class object is being used inside a vehicle. Then it's what tight coupling you can say. Tight coupling in the sense one class object is being used inside the another other interface. Right? The same way we used to do v equals to new bus. This is also similar thing. If a bus object is there, you'll execute that move at the start journey. For car is there, you call the same method. Calling of the methods will be same, like v dot move or v dot start, anything. Okay. Now, if I say v dot move, based on the car object, it will call the car related operations. If I am storing the bus, it will call the bus related things. And we have seen the factory method, right? A method which generates the object. Similar to that, we need to write the stacks inside a SP config. So same thing we'll perform using spconfig.xml. Not like directly giving the object inside the program. We'll pass it through the configuration file. Right? For that, we need to use a tag known as a reference tag. Okay? And in that we have the parent or the bin. So either you're referring to a parent or a particular bin tag, you can specify ID of parent or bin. That we have to see. Okay. So ID of parent or bin you can say, or we have given a particular name also. So what is the particular name? You can say collaborator bin. The collaborator bin is nothing but the thing, the name given for the reference tag value. Whatever you want to give, you can give it. So how it functions? Because if you see, we have the upcasting, right? That vehicle v equals new car. The same thing we are performing here also. Okay. By using this tag, we are storing the object of one bin property into another bin. How it's referring, that we have to see. Okay. So now, next thing. Like first, we need to create a project. Inside that project, we have the configuration file. Right. So how to create the project? First, file is there. Inside the file, we have the next thing. What is the next thing? You have new Java project. Select Java project, and here we have the Java project. So inside the Java project, we have first thing. What is it? Any project name you can specify. So what is the project name I'm specifying? Like Spring Dependency. So Spring Dependency example I can say. So directly I'm saying the Spring Dependency. Click on next and finish the project. So we got the Spring Dependency, right? First, what is that things we have to do? We need two interfaces. What are the interfaces you can say? Already we have seen this example in Core Java. That is, first a vehicle is there. Vehicle is an interface, and that interface has two things. One is car and one is bus. You can say these are the two subclasses of a vehicle, you can say. Okay. And if you want to be specific, we can go for that Audi or that bus type and all the things. Either car is a vehicle or bus is a vehicle. We can say both the things. right? Now we have one more thing. What is one more thing you can say? Journey. Journey is an interface which will be done by whom? The travelers. So what you can say here? A traveler is there who is doing the journey, right? So two things are there. Two interfaces are there. Vehicle interface is there and the journey interface. Three classes are there. First is the traveler which implements the journey. Second is nothing but the car which implements the vehicle. Third, bus which implements the vehicle, right? And the main logic where we configure all the things. Separately we have written, right? We configure all the things in a single file. And here two configuration files we can write. It's not mandatory, but I'm showing the how to write multiple configuration files. Okay, and here what's happening in the first configuration and the second configuration, that we have to see. Okay, so now first thing I need to write that interface, right? So I'll write the journey. So based on the journey you can have it. So new class I am taking. So where is that class? Here the class is there. So now in this thing we need to write a package name. What is the package name? You can say example dot, or you can say com dot dependency dot example. Okay, if you want you can increase that, or just you can say com dot dependency also directly, it's fine. Next, the thing. What is the thing we have? We have an journey. So I want to take it as a class or interface. It's an interface. So try to write the thing within an interface. You have an interface, yes. So com dot, what do you have? We have an example, or directly dependency you can say. And we have a particular thing known as journey, right? So journey is a thing which we need to finish. Directly you can say finish. So you got a public interface journey, right? Inside that I'll say what the journey means. You can start a journey, right? You can't have any normal methods. You can have only the
Abstract.
So this is an abstract method, public, like by default it's public and abstract, right?
Public abstract.
That's the first thing. Now, the next thing will be like here, after writing a journey, we need to write a class which can travel. So for the traveler, he can travel with a bus or he can travel with a vehicle, with a car. So I'll write first the vehicle thing, then the bus, then the car, then we can go for this particular traveler. Okay, so right click and say new, again an interface I'm taking. So what is the interface name? You can say it's a vehicle. So it's a vehicle, right?
Yes.
So finish the things. So inside the vehicle, what you can say, again a factory method, abstract method is required. Move, vehicle moves, and a traveler can start the journey. Two things are there. Now is starting the journey using a vehicle, you can say. The first thing, why we are doing all those things? Because of the loose coupling concept. Means we don't want anyone to depend on anything, like any class object being dependent on any other class. That's the main important reason. Okay, so now in this scenario, what is the next thing we have? We need to write one more class known as, here a class is there, like say new. What is that new? Class. we can say the car thing, which has a method and finish things. What this car is doing?
Implementing
What it has to implement? The journey or the like vehicle?
Vehicle.
Implements vehicle. Right? Now after implementing, it has its own features, right? Yeah, we need to implement the void new, okay? If you're not implementing, it will give error. Right? So we have only one thing. Now this is what we need to implement there. In the similar way, we have some methods like private, or you can say string. What you can consider? The maximum speed. Let's just consider that int max speed. Okay. So if you want to add, you can add more types. The cost and the mileage and everything you can add. Or directly, you can generate the getter and setter methods. We know how to generate the getter and setter methods, right? Right click source. Inside that source, we have the getter and generator. Select this thing and just say okay. It will generate the getter and setter methods. And we can implement whatever the logic you want, you can implement directly in this particular things. Right? So what we can say, we have a particular variable, and that variable is maximum speed, and whatever the speed you want to write, you can write. So while moving the car, it moves with a speed, and what it's moving, it's a car. So what's a car? You just need to specify that thing. That's it, right? So here, the first thing, I'll just implement it as system.out.println. What we need to implement here, the maximum speed is how much? So what is maximum speed? Just give the variable name, the instance variable name. So based on that, we can say that car has been started. So out.println car has started. This is done with the car. Next, the same way we need to do it for the bus. So we have a particular class with the name bus, and finish the thing. And it requires an implement and we have a private, what you can say, int max speed. Sorry, it's a variable, right? It's a private thing, right? And we have public void. No, this is public mandatory because the superclass methods are also public. And we need to generate a getter and setter method for this also. Source, inside the source we have the getter and setter methods. And from which we are generating it? The maximum speed. Similar to the car only, right? Click on this, we got the getter and setter methods. And here we can say system.out.println. Like, what is that value? Here I'll just say maximum speed is nothing but whatever you want to give, you can give it directly, right? Maximum speed. So value is not taken directly here. So this is a variable. That's it. Next, you can say which has been started. It's nothing but the bus has started. So we have written the things which we required for a particular bus and all things. Now the traveler part we need to write. So what the traveler part will be moving directly. So I'm just right clicking on it. After right clicking, you can say new, and we have a class. The class name is nothing but the travel. Right? So if you want, you can use that implements and everything, or directly you can say punch. So it should implement a journey, right? So implements journey. If I click on this, it will say that add unimplemented methods. If you override the things, it's fine. Now after that, if you can say create a vehicle reference. Why I'm creating a vehicle reference? Because whoever is traveling, he'll travel with the vehicle itself, right? And we need to set that method. So what is that? Public void, here's vehicle. So what is that? Public void set that vehicle. So whatever is there, I'm just saying it as vehicle V. We are setting the object now directly. Okay. So this dot V equals to V. So because based on that particular start journey, he'll call the move method. Either he's wanting to go to the car or the bus. Okay. So he'll directly call system.out.println. What we have a thing. What is the thing? You can say the journey has been started. Now after this, we need to call a method. What is that method? Move. How can I be able to call that move method? Because of the reference of vehicle. And reference we don't have any method now, but we can get it. Sorry, reference we don't have any object now, but we can get it after executing it. Okay. So till now I've written the classes and the interfaces. The next thing will be the configuration file. So how to write the configuration file? You can say in the SRC, like you can see here. After writing the package, we have written the configuration file. So in the SRC, you need to write XML file. So what are the XML files we have? You have to see. The other part you have said, inside the other part, we need an XML file. So what is the XML file? You can say XML file name will be there. That name is nothing but the sp config. Or if you're taking two XML files, I'm just renaming it as sp config one. Any name you can take, just have taken the sp config, right? So if you take the sp config, this doc type is similar. It won't change every time. And how to get this doc type, I've shown this in the last class. So now sp config one, we just need to have this doc type. After this doc type, we can write the bins. Bins are nothing but how many bins are there, you can specify it directly. So we have two bins. I write two bins here. Bin equals to id, that is nothing but the id object. So what is that id object? You can say some cx. Okay, that cx indicates what? Car object you can say. I'll just take, it's an example, you can take anything. Instead of cs, you can take anything. And where this car object is present, com dot dependency. Dependency dot, what we have a car. That's it, right? So inside that car, we have few properties. Means this bin tag is nothing but indicating the class and the object and the variables. So what variables we need now? Property name equals to max speed. And what value you want to specify here, you can specify here directly. That value is nothing but how much speed a particular maximum speed a car can go. You can say 120, right? Directly given there's 120, and here just got this. This is one property you have set. The similar way we need to set for the other property. What is that? Bus. So bin tag is there. ID equals to what we can write here? Bx. Bus object. A class equals to com dot dependency bus. So in the bin tag again we need to write what? We need to write the property. What is the name? We can say max speed itself. It doesn't change because same property has been used. And what is value? You can say it can go up to 90 kilometers each. These are the two properties written inside spconfig1.xml file. Right? Till now understood what we have done, how that particular object has been created, and like here it's a creation of object. What is the object? Cx is an object and bx is an object, and it will call a method like the set name. Like if you see, those tags indicate like car cx equals to new car, and it will call a method cx dot set max speed int max speed, and that value this dot speed equals to speed. So that value we are calling, this method is being called now. So what you can say, directly the 120 part has been called. The similar way we can say that has been called with the bus. We can say here bus is there. These are indicated by these two tags actually, right? So we are not creating the object directly and calling it. We are using the bin configuration. Internally, this Spring IOC container will create the objects. Okay. So now, after this configuration file, I'm writing one more configuration file. So what is it? One more configuration file. You can say there is spconfig2. So we have a class or an interface or an XML file. What is the XML file? Just say spconfig2 XML file, right? So we know that already spconfig1 file contains the doc type. Same thing we need to copy and paste inside the particular configuration. Save this part. This is a spconfig2. And why we need to write spconfig2? Because already we wrote the classes, right? But apart from that, here the superclass reference is storing the subclass object. That code we need to write. How we are writing in a bin form, that we have to see. So bin tag I am writing. Inside the bin tag we have the bin. ID equals to Vx. That Vx is nothing but the travel. Dot dependency. Is it audible? It's saying that you might have an experience in the difficulty of voice. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So here com dot dependency, and inside this we have a class. What's the class? You can say travel. Inside that we have a property. What's the property? See that clearly. I have a travel which has a property known as vehicle V. So we need to set this thing directly. So how will you set this value? Directly I'll say property. See, it's inside the bin actually. So it's the same thing. You just need to write that part inside the bin. Property, some name equals to V. Inside that property, the reference tag. So what you are referring to the parent. What is that parent? You can say Here we have two classes. What are the classes you can say? Either I can say vehicle V equals to new car or V equals to new BMW. Sorry, not BMW, the bus. And this is done inside these tags are nothing but here these two tags has been used, right? The property and the bill. So for the car, you can say this has been implemented. What is it? This tag represents this particular calling, right? The similar way, instead of writing that V equals new car, we'll write a tag inside the parent reference. That parent reference tag is nothing but you can say which object you want, either the car or the bus. I'll take CX, the car object first. Now, if you execute this thing, it will execute the car method itself. That's it. The last thing will be the where you wrote the sp-config to. Okay, in Spring Hello 2. It's inside the src. Okay, it's not inside that. Now we need to write the main thing. What's the main class? We just need to create an object for it. Just give me a second. Charge. Yeah, fine. So we need to write a one more class. What's that class? You can say user travel. Inside this user traveling, this is a main method, right? So public static void main, the string args will be there. That's it. Now, what's the main thing? Already we have seen the resource. The resource is nothing but we need to add the jar files. If you want to access them, we need to add the jar files. What are the jar files? Build path, configure build path. We have external jar files. That is nothing but directly inside a thing we have. What is it? Where we had this reverse only, right? Yeah, inside the reverse, we had Spring 2.5.6 and commons login. Open, click OK. Now we can write the resource. What is it? A resource res1 equals to new class path spconfig1.xml. First, we need to import the packages. What are the packages we need? Spring Framework core.io, and after that we have one more thing, class path. It's not the annotation one, it's the Spring Framework itself. Right? So next, after calling this, we need to call the bin factory. So bin factory in the sense, how many bins are there, all these objects will be created. So we have two things, we'll call the two things at a time. XML bin factory. And what is the XML bin factory? You can say res1. So this is the part we have done, and the same thing we need to do it for the second configuration file also. But inside the second configuration file, we need to pass the first configuration things. Means I am merging the two configuration files, like copy these things. Instead of spconfig1, I'm just saying 2, and the thing is known as res2 and factory 2. So we have a constructor inside the bin factory where I need the information of the spconfig1. Why I need the information of spconfig1 means, if you see the spconfig2, it contains the object of CX, which is related to this spconfig1. So this object must be passed, means the factory one contains the object of the CX. So I have to pass that particular factory one, you can say. directly. Then we can access a method. What is that method? You can say the first thing will be the calling. How to call these things? The object type O equals to, we can say, factory2 dot get bin. What is it get bin? You can say we have an object, and what is that object name? spconfig to vx. That's the vx part. Vx contains what? Car object. So we need to convert this. How we can convert this? Journey j equals to the journey of O. O is an object, right? What is the spelling of journey? Yeah. Now we can call a method. What's that method? J dot start journey. That's it. So inside a journey, what we have? We have, like, say, a method. What's that method? Start journey, right? And who has implemented this journey now? If you see that travel.java has implemented this journey, and the superclass reference can store the subclass object to call the start journey. Right? We are not depending on any class now. This is user traveling is the main logic, because he is traveling by using what? Bus, you can say, or by using a particular car, anything. It's giving an exception. No such bean definition named as Vx is defined. Where
in class number line number 15 change to res2, I guess. Is that
where you are saying user traveling?
Yes, line number 15 is res2.
Give me a second. res2 in the, okay, yeah, it's the res2 because we need to pass that res2 inside the resource and the factory. Yeah, fine. So next we need to run this again. Just run it part. The journey started with maximum speed. It can go with 120, and what? The car has just started by using the car. How you got car? We are given the Vx, right? The Vx contains what? Car object. Car actually is nothing but Cx is nothing but car object. If I think Vx is the bus object. If I run this thing directly inside this part, I got the bus object. So here we are not creating the object and giving directly. We are using the bin configuration file, creating the object and passing it. And this step is nothing but, again, v equals to new bus. By using the tags, we have done it. The property name which refers to the parent class is nothing but this object is being stored inside the v. V is the vehicle reference that contains the particular object. Okay, so in the travel class you have the vehicle reference, right? That is the part. Understood now? So this is dependency injection by using a setter. Now another thing is constructor. Which is better, we'll see. Again we have the collection, set, map. Which is better, also we have to see. In tomorrow's class, once you complete this thing, just directly I'll tell you how to access this with constructor injection or the particular maps. Okay. So in today's program, any doubts? How the flow is going on? First, see, we are configuring the spconfig1. What is the spconfig1? You can say it contains that variable, that max speed 120. So this is nothing but creating an object of car and calling the set max speed method. E-tag meaning adi. Next, after that, if you call this bin id this way, in this thing you can say it has called for the bus set max speed. And now spconfig2 is nothing but it's creating the car object or the bus object. Depends on what you are passing here. Simple thing. After configuring all the things, we are getting the object. What object? That Vx contains car object. Based on that car object and calling the start journey. So that start journey is nothing but contains the information. Like here, started. Journey has been started. And who is implementing this? This is implemented by the travel. And when the travel is calling the start journey, along with the journey started, it has calling the v.mu. v.mu means here mu means directly it will go for the particular car, because if it's a car object. So inside the car we can say move. That move is nothing but calling the max speed or the car has started. Right? So these are the things we have. Based on that we can call it. The getter method is not required actually. If you want to remove, you can remove it. The set max speed is required because internally it will be called. And if I am giving the bus object, it will call the bus methods. Simple thing. That's the flow of the application. It starts from the user traveling. From this, here we are giving the factory one because in the RES2, the resource 2, spconfig 2, we need the object of the bin, which is present inside the factory one. So instead of calling factory one dot get bin, storing in an object and passing it to the XML bin factory, directly the factory one object has been transferred to this particular part. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see the remaining thing, and if anyone has recorded the session, like Ramesh, have you done this thing?
Rohit, will you please send us jar files in the mail?
Java2s.com. I showed you, like in the video I've shown how to download that also.
Yeah, but it is possible. It's easy to send mail.
అదే బద్ధకం అంటారు దాన్ని. అన్ని వీడియోలు ఎందుకు చూపెడతాను అంటే మీకు ఈ Java2s అనేది త్రూ అవుట్ ఆల్ ద పర్టికులర్ జార్స్ మీకు ఇక్కడ దొరుకుతాయి. సో ఇది ఒకసారి మీరు ఫస్ట్ హోమ్ నుంచి చూస్తే కనుక ఏమేమి అన్ని తెలుస్తుంది. ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఎవ్రీ రిలేటెడ్ టు జావా, ఆల్ ద పర్టికులర్ థింగ్స్ ఆర్ దేర్ హియర్. ఓకే, XML ట్యూటోరియల్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్. ఒకవేళ మీకు వీడియో చూసి కూడా డౌన్లోడ్ చేయడానికి రావట్లేదు అంటే అప్పుడు చెప్పండి.
ఓకే.
దీంట్లో అన్ని 7 మాడ్యూల్స్ యొక్క ఫైల్స్ అన్ని ఉన్నాయని కూడా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసాను.
ఐ రిమెంబర్.
ఓకే, దీంట్లో అంటే మీరు డౌన్లోడ్ చేశారా దీని నుంచి?
అసలు ఇంకా స్టార్ట్ చేయలేదు.
ఎస్, ఒకసారి చూడండి, రాకపోతే అప్పుడు అడగండి. ఇక్కడ జార్. ఓకే, సో ఫైన్, దట్స్ ఇట్ ఫర్ టుడే. Ramesh, try to upload the video once.
Okay.